Thank you. Let me ask my team to introduce themselves.
You should have introduced yourself. At this point, we are still not very sure who's the governor.
My name is Simba Arati, Governor Kisi, Chair.
Okay. The rest of the team can go on record.
Good evening, Chair. My name is Kenneth Abinja.
Committee, in respect of the matter, and accompanying annexures for the report of the County Public Accounts Committee on the report of the Auditor General on audited financial statement for the County Executive for the financial year 2023-2024, the management response, and accompanying annexures for the report of the Auditor General on audited financial statement, receiver of revenue for the County Executive of the financial year 2023-2024.
Auditor General, have you reviewed the responses and are you ready to guide us?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. We have received the responses and the annexures and are ready to proceed with the meeting.
Clerk of the Senate.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, we did receive the responses from the Kisii County Executive as prescribed by our letter to Kisii for invitation to this meeting. Thank you.
Okay, so what we are supposed to do today is to find out to what extent you have implemented the recommendations of the Senate as per the motion that was adopted on the 27th of March 2024. The Auditor General made some findings, brought their report to the Senate by 31st of December. The Senate gave you an opportunity to explain the measures that you had taken. I think Kisii did not appear before the committee.
They did, Chair, on 24th of March.
Or Kisii appeared before the committee on 24th of March. And as a result, we were able to write a report which we sent to the Senate on the 27th of March. It is that resolution of the Senate that we shall be considering today. Before this meeting, we had asked the Auditor General to go back and verify whether any of those recommendations have been implemented. Auditor General, give us your overall report on the number of issues, those that have been resolved and those that are outstanding.
Thank you, Chair. Overall, the issues were 52. We were able to do the verification of the responses and the annexures. 4 issues have been addressed. 16 issues partially addressed, and 32 not addressed.
My apologies, OAG. Just restate that.
Thank you, Chair. In terms of the summary of the issues, we had 52 issues.
50?
52.
52.
Yeah. 4 issues addressed. 16 issues partially addressed, and 32 not addressed.
So maybe to step back, because I'm looking at the minutes of our last meeting. At our last meeting, there were 64 issues. During the meeting, 8 queries were resolved. 4 were partially addressed and 52 remained unresolved. So we took recommendations to the House on 52 issues. You're saying out of those 52, only 4 have been resolved so far?
Yes, Chair. Only 4 has been addressed.
Could we start by identifying them and maybe we can reduce the number of issues that are before us? Let's first identify the issues that in your view have been resolved. Then we'll go back to the unresolved ones and give directions. Auditor?
Thank you, Chair. The issue number 10 is about underpayment of staff. The issue has been addressed.
Perhaps it would be useful just to be very brief without necessarily reading everything. Just say what your audit query was and how it has been resolved.
Thank you, Chair. We were able to do the analysis of the payroll, especially for the ECD staff at that time of the audit. They were paid less than 14,000 per month. This is contrary to the management order, May 2022. For May, working in terms of the county, that requires that the minimum should be more than 14. So, but when we see the feedback in terms of the responses, we have been given a list of the confirmed officers, especially the ECD, and a sample of the pay slips that indicate that this minimum has gone up. Initially, it was less than 14, but now you can see some of them being paid 15, 16. So that's why we are saying that the issue hasn't been addressed.
Legal, we are asked that you look at that regulation. Is it still at 14 or it's at 16? Did you manage to get it? As he retrieves that, Senator Onyonka, you had an intervention?
Yes, I was just going to mention, Chair, that actually you raised the issue, because I was going to ask Legal to explain to us what does the law require the executive to do in terms of the basic minimum wage that we need to pay anybody who works in the county, whether they are casual laborers or whether they are, what I am now told is something called professional, that kind of thing.
Malcolm, do you have it?
Yes, through the chair, there is the Regulation of Wages General Order. It states that at regulation 3.1, no person to whom this order applies shall be employed at basic minimum wage less favorable to him than that which is applicable to him under the first or second schedule, having regard to his age and to the circumstances of his employment by reference to columns 2, 3, 4 thereof, and to the nature of his occupation as listed in column 1 thereof, to be determined by reference to the definitions contained in the third schedule. 2, an employer shall ascertain the basic minimum wage to which any person employed by him is entitled under the provisions of this order by reference to the particulars of his birth or apparent age. Through the chair, in this case, there's an entire schedule which sets out the wages of the basic wages, and in column 1, chair, it states that within other areas. Within other areas, this is general laborer, including cleaner, sweeper, gardener, children's hire, house servant, day watchman, and messenger. In column 2, which is Nakuru, Nairobi, Kisumu, and Nakuru cities, this is 15,201 shillings 0.65 cents at a daily rate of 731 and 50 cents. The former municipalities and town councils of Mavoko, Ruiru, and Limuru, this would be 14,025 shillings and 40 cents at a daily rate of 672 shillings per day. And in other areas, it is 8,109.90 at a daily rate of 411. Yeah.
That does not seem to be the regulation we referred to when we were dealing with Tharaka-Nithi.
Yes, from my researches, this is the current. This is the one that is available. The most recent.
That's which year? Regulation 2022 or 2025?
The one of 1982, as revised by Legal Notice 221 of 2023 on 31st December 2022.
2023.
2022, as collected from the Kenya law.
Okay, I think that's for us to establish. But I recall this matter very vividly. Remember when Tharaka were paying some people 6,000 and 9,000, and we read the regulation, and we established that we were below the minimum wage. In fact, but what you have read indicates that counties like Tharaka can pay up to 8,000.
This one would depend with column 3 and 4, the definition of whether Kisii was a former municipality. If so, then the minimum wage would be 14,000. And for other areas would be 8,109.
Fine. Auditor General says that they have seen evidence that these people below minimum wage have been regularized, and these are, Governor, these are ECD teachers. So the lowest paid ECD teacher in Kisii earns?
Chair, the lowest is 25,000.
25,000.
Yes.
So you didn't put them at the 14,000.
No, when I came in, I found that these people, they were being paid 12,000. Therefore, against what they were there for that time, it was prorated. I can see the list is 25,000.
Okay. OAG, you give us the assurance that you have seen those contracts and
Yes, Chair. We confirm that we have received that, and we have confirmed in terms of the minimum.
Okay, we'll come back to a conversation on the wage bill. I think a much broader conversation, and maybe this will be part of those issues that will come up. The next issue that's resolved?
Chair, the second issue which has been resolved is irregular earning of the salary, the county attorney. This one has been addressed. There were court cases going on at that time, but later on, the ruling has been, that's page 11 of the brief, page 11 of 43.
Yeah, this matter was deliberated on extensively at our last meeting. And I think that there was just some documentation, some evidence that was missing.
Yes.
At that point.
Yes, what was missing at that time was the court ruling, which has been appealed by the county. And now they have provided that. And also in terms of the refund of the funds to now the attorney.
So the refund
has been done.
Has been done.
Yes.
And you can confirm that, you can give us that assurance?
Yes, Chair, the evidence has been there and judgment of the court has been provided. And also refund of the RTGS has been done as an evidence.
Okay, I remember we spent a lot of time on this at our last meeting. So we'll mark that as resolved. What's the next matter?
Here on page 26 of the summary, issue number 30 is about house renovation at the lower Milimani estate. This has also been addressed. We're able to see the letter of the tenancy agreement and the completion certificates.
That's issue number 30.
Yes.
Implementation of a project or
House renovation at lower Milimani estate.
why is your numbering different from mine? That's 29. House renovation at Lower Milimani Estate.
Page 26 of the summary.
Which document is this? That's isn't it this? Oh, okay, so these are our recommendations. Fine, house renovation at Lower Milimani Estate. Letter of offer, completion certificates, inspection and acceptance certificates. You have reviewed those ones?
Yes, Chair, that has been provided and we have reviewed.
But there is an element, and this we must deal with, Governor. What was our recommendation in that column? Clerk, what was our recommendation? Because it was not just provision of documents. There was a recommendation to deal with non-provision of documents. So again, OAG, when you tell us it's closed, make sure that our recommendations have also been complied with. Because there is a part where we are asking for administrative action, and that does not seem to have been demonstrated.
Thank you, Chair. The first recommendation was that the Office of the County Governor undertakes administrative actions against the officers who failed to provide the documents to the auditors in accordance with Section 156 of the PFM Act, and they provide a status update to the committee within 60 days from adoption of the report.
Yeah, so Governor, that's part of what we are doing here. It is not just enough to say that the documents were presented, but it is an offense not to provide documents to the Auditor General during the audit without any valid reason. That's why we directed you to take administrative action. Administrative action could be a warning, could be a reprimand, could be a redeployment, or could be sacking. What have you done to comply with that recommendation of the committee?
Chair, thank you. Apart from actually providing the documentation, first business is that you call these people to explain to us why they had not submitted. But then when they're remorseful that indeed those documents, either they were misplaced and they are provided, you don't take that harsh action to punish them, as it were. Otherwise, the way structure of civil service, you will dismiss every person. You will be at war with every person.
No, administrative action does not mean sacking. When you came here on 24th of March 2025, those documents had still not been provided to the auditor. When the auditor was in Kisii, between September and December 2024, the documents had not been provided. So why would you be soft about that? This process has timelines, which you are the governor who brought that matter very clearly before this committee, that the timelines must be respected. You remember the conversation we had. Why should we then be laissez-faire on members of staff who are not complying with the timelines?
Yeah, in addition, so that he can answer both
Senator
the
Arati.
indulgence, Governor Section 62 of the Public Audit Act is very clear that non-provision of documentation is violation of the law. So if you say you cannot be harsh or punished under administrative action, it is very unfair to the audit process, because the law in itself cascades from maybe transfer, administrative action, or even a possibility of a litigation. But on this instance, there is a clear violation of the law. And the only way to cure the law is to ensure there is a legal redress to that aspect. So our question is on these officers on non-provision of documentation. Has there been any action? Before even you fire, before you fire, there are many other mechanisms you can use. Before even firing, the firing should be the last stage. So why have you not complied with? Or should we punish you so that you can punish the rest? Thank you, Chair.
Chair, out of the discussion we had in the last meeting, and I'm up that the OAG, they're here, and I'm sure they have done the audit. Out of the reprimand that we had pulled before these people, they must have provided documentation, even for the going forward. But again, I'm not very sure. There must have a number of those transfers we're talking about that could be there, but I'm not sure. But the only thing I'm sure, after I read the riot gear, for sure, I'm sure that going forward, documentation has been provided on time to the auditors.
Chair, on a point of order, what do you mean, Governor? You read a riot act to your officers or to AAG, and is your county secretary here? Why is he not here, Chair? And it is through the correspondence between you, between your office, the official is the county secretary. And I thought, Governor, in any instance as the governor of Kisii, and you know you are my good friend, that everything should be written. Because if you said you read a riot act, maybe when you are walking out, you just read a riot act and then you leave it there. We need the action. Was after county secretary, was it written down so that it is implementable, so that they can refer to a particular circular, Chair? If you can give us that comfort, then we can move to the next action. Thank you, Chair.
Senator Wambua.
Thank you, Chair. Governor, I think the frustration that we find ourselves in is that there is a recommendation by the committee that the governor should undertake administrative action. Now, the only thing that this committee is asking for is just evidence of that action. That, yes, it is okay to reprimand, but then after reprimanding, there must be some evidence to show that action was taken against the officers. Why? Because these people failed to provide documents against the law. But when they are pushed a bit, the documents somehow appear. I mean, to me, that would even look like sabotage. And if they realize that the only thing that the governor can do is just tell us, you guys, you did a bad thing, but it's okay, you have provided the documents, then it gets even worse. So what evidence is there that there was a reprimand? And if it is not there, then just say it is not there, Chair. So we don't belabor this point.
Yeah, Chair, apology is a parliamentary word. You can just apologize, then we move on to other issues.
Because the manner in which we respond to this will guide how we deal with the other issues. Remember, I said at the beginning that today we are dealing with the recommendations of the committee following the report that we tabled on 27th of March. So we must go back to that recommendation and ask ourselves that, did you do what the House resolved that you should do? In this case, the House resolved that you should take administrative action. Now, you should tell us whether that action was taken, but if action is taken in an executive role, it must be in writing.
I'm sure that the action must have been taken. That's why AOG is saying that he...
Order, Chair. Point of order.
The OAG is only responding to the availability of documents.
Right.
The Senate is concerned about non-availability of the documents during the audit. When they become available after the audit, they could be cooked. And that would be another offense.
And in addition, Chair, if you say they might have, Governor, you are the governor of Kisii, you are the chief executive officer. When some critical decisions like administrative action are taken, you should be aware, unlike the presidency, the executive powers rest with the governor. And therefore, if there is any action that should have been taken, don't worry about your senator. I can see you are glancing at him. Don't worry about him. The issue I'm talking about is whether executive and governor, if you have written, just even if you didn't file then, if you have it with the officers, they can just give us, we give you, you are being a seasoned parliamentarian, you table, and then we go and review and come back to you. If it was not done, then you can apologize, we move to other issues, Governor.
Chair, for that document, I'll ask that we may provide it as and when available. Given there must have been, I want to say that they could have not acted out of just word of mouth. Therefore, Chairman, I want to say that I apologize. Sorry for this, but again, undertake that I will provide that document when it's available.
Look, Governor, we have dealt with a number of counties on this. There are counties that have come here with letters indicating designation of officers. There are counties that have come here with letters indicating warnings and reprimands. There are counties that have come here with a circular to all staff to take seriously the audit process. We cannot take it that it is somewhere and you will find it, because, again, it will be manufactured just to satisfy this query. I think we take great exception to that. Going forward, let's make sure that we are reading the recommendation of the committee and dealing with what the committee has recommended, over and above what the Auditor General has brought up. You brought to the attention of this committee the need to pay fidelity to Article 229. If you expect us to be faithful to that article, you must also be faithful to that article. That article requires Parliament to put in its recommendations, and once it is adopted, it requires you to respond to the recommendations of Parliament.
Agreed, Chair.
Chair, let me just add something small on that. Two things. One, I remember, Governor, that the directive or the recommendation by the committee is to the governor to take administrative action. And so it cannot be that document will be available if we get it. If it's not there, it's not there. Chair, there's something you said the other day. That administrative action, because we are here to learn, all of us are learning, that administrative action could actually even mean refresher training for your people, that they must understand the importance of providing documents when those documents are needed. That's also administrative action. Thank you, Chair.
Chair, maybe in addition, Governor, who signed off this? Are the people who signed off your financial statements? Governor, is the chair of audit committee here with us? And who signed off these financial statements? Are they here with us? The people who signed off the financial statement of this. The names are, sorry for Vincent Okioma Nyangwara. Why? He's the chief of South. Is he still chief of South Finance? Just on record, kindly, Governor. You're not on record.
He is. He is.
Why is he not with us?
There is a lean team that I came with, which accompanied me.
Chair,
Saying this, let me finish just a minute, Onyonga.
I'm just giving you an addendum. I would want to know whether the officers who signed these documents are CPA accountants.
Yeah, I'm going there. I'm
Thank
going
you.
there, kindly. So Vincent Okioma Nyangwara is not here
He's a chief of staff.
of finance, but he signed off the financial statements. Who is the head of accounting unit without a name, but is part number 13733? What is his name?
Is not here, too.
What is his name? It's not on
Don Nyandani.
John Nyandanyi. Chair, I thought we made a ruling in the morning that if none of the signatories of financial statements are not here with us, how do we proceed? This is very unique. Governor, did you absent them strategically? I thought the gentleman, there is a gentleman of public works, another gentleman I've heard. Were they important more than the people who understand these financial statements because they are more needed than the rest?
Chair, it's not that I absented them strategically, is that we are on the close of the financial year. There is a lot of, back and forth in clearing of those documentation. Yeah. And because this was a follow-up on the discussion we had, I didn't see that I was to come with them. But again, the gentlemen who are around, they have their specific questions they're going to answer here, where they are liable.
But Governor, Chair, maybe I'll need a ruling on this because you had made a ruling in the morning when CI appeared. This is a unique situation where the people who signed off financial statements are not here with us. Well, I agree, Governor, although your team is not gender balanced, well, I agree that there is issues because we are coming to the end of financial year. I agree with you. But it shows that you don't take serious the importance of this process. Because these are the people who generated your financial statements, and all of them stem in our so Chair, can as a committee give direction so that, if the